my dear Sitecore family. So a lot of you are at Sitecore Symposium today, and while Girish and I, we are recording a podcast here for you. The main topic of discussion today is achieving brand consistency with Sitecore Content Hub. And so Girish, first of all, thank you for your time and being here on the show to share your knowledge and expertise on Content Hub. While before we get started on the topic, my initial question is, what is brand consistency? Like before going into the detailing of understanding how can we achieve brand consistency using Content Hub, I'd like to understand a little bit more about brand consistency.
Yeah, sure. First of all, I would like to thank you for having this show where it helps us like technologists or strategists like us to share our experiences, knowledge, what we gain through our day-to-day work and share it with a wider audience so that it could be helpful to them.
Yeah.
Now I'll come to the question, what is brand consistency? So like I have done my MBA, so I'll not bring up the bookish definition for it, but rather than I believe in practical examples and experiences, so that it would be easy for everybody to understand it. So brand consistency, like as you know, the festive season is already kicked in India. So we had Dashera last week, we have Diwali in a couple of weeks. So I went shopping with my wife last week on a weekend. So I went to one of those branded stores. So where I went in and we found something good, but it was not available in her size. So what the store manager recommended is like you could go to our online app or website and you could just select it and the right size and it would be delivered to your place. So we have multiple touch points. Like we have an individual store, then we have the web, then we have the mobile, and then we see that there are multiple hoardings or TV is where you see different kinds of advertisements playing in the store, outside store. So these are all multiple touch points. And again, as a brand, you need to deliver a consistent message across all your touch points. It shouldn't be like if I come to your store, I see a different experience. If I visit your web or a mobile application, it is a different experience. So it should be all consistent, and that is an important vital thing for all the brands now, a consistent brand experience.
Right. Even the wearable devices these days, right? Like who doesn't have a smartwatch?
Yes.
Right. So can I just instead of being more elaborative, can I just conclude it in a single statement that the message that you pass through whichever channel needs to be consistent?
Yes.
That is brand consistency in a way. So if we talk of brand consistency, it could be in multiple fashions, right? I mean, it could be the message. It could also be maybe the theme, right?
Yes.
You might have brand colors and stuff like that. What else?
Or it could be your the images you show, the brand logos you have, the message you deliver. Like it could be your product tagline. Like for example, it's festive season and you have taglines for your for this particular festive season. So it should be consistent across all multiple channels, and this becomes important because you, with different messages being delivered at different channels, it gives a disjointed experience, and it might also create a doubt. Like, are the customers on the right side or on the right store, or they are two different entities? So that's a question that might raise.
Let's say, what are the disadvantages of a brand inconsistency?
Brand inconsistency. So one would be you wouldn't be able to hold onto your customers. So for example, let's take a retail brand as we started with it.
Sure.
So if you have a customer who is been regularly purchasing online, but again you have your store in their locality, and even the names are same, but again, if the customer sees a different experience, what he or she sees on your website or on your app, so he might think that it's a different entity, and then he wouldn't be step in or purchase from there. So all your purpose of opening and store offline store wouldn't be helpful. Then again, uh, different uh, different messages will have different meanings, so that would be also and might impact your brand in a negative way.
I believe it could also affect your marketing strategies, right? Like for example, because let's say you you might have some regional specific marketing which is okay, although if you have kind of a seasonal store, let's say you sell fruit juices, right? And then you have a seasonal store, let's say you have some seasonal fruit juices, you cannot have a marketing strategy all throughout in case you don't have brand consistency, and then to manage that also is very difficult in case you want to still do it.
Yes, so you just driven home the point. Yes, so without a consistent brand strategy, it would also cost you a lot, because different marketing teams are working on same thing and delivering in different ways. For example, as you mentioned, like I just recall advertisement that I used to see in my childhood from one of our favorite cool drinks, Thumbs Up.
Yeah.
So we used to have a Thumbs Up is widely spread all over India. But again, as you know, that different locations have different film stars. So I remember that there used to be one superstar who used to be filmed in the northern side of the advertisement, and for the southern side there used to be a regional actor. But again, all the setup used to be same. It's just that the face of the actor varies.
Yeah.
So this is the consistency that brands follow, and that becomes important.
Right. Well, now we can, so basically, I think from a foundational standpoint, what is the brand consistency? What is a brand, or why does it matter? Is clear to me. How can we achieve it with Content Hub?
So the major issue with brand consistency is you have disjointed systems.
Yep.
And disjointed teams. Like nobody knows like what's in somebody else's personal PC, rather than if it is not on a shared platform. So with Content Hub, you could curate all your assets in one place. Not only assets, whatever messages you want to deliver, like be it an email campaign. So if for this reason you want to have a nicely curated email message, it could be created in Content Hub. If you want to generate a social media message, it could be curated in Content Hub. So it's all in one place. And then a single team can work together. They can share their ideas, collaborate over the same system. So in case for example, like you have a team of 10 creators who are working separately in 10 different geographical locations. So what can they do is they could upload their assets into Content Hub, and they can share it among themselves and come up like, okay, so for the upcoming campaign, so which are the assets that are good, or whichever content is more appealing. So 10 brains working on a single idea would be more powerful rather than 10 different people working in 10 different directions and having 10 different ideas and delivering brand message in 10 different ways.
Right. So technically, even if they are working on different locations, a system like Content Hub can help them curate everything into one system.
Yes.
But then I still have a question, Girish. Let's say, so again, we'll go through an example. Okay. So let's say the seasonal brand that I mentioned.
Yep.
So they have, let's say, fruit juices per season.
Right.
Let's say for India we have winter, summer, and rainy season. And for every season, we know that there are some specific fruits,
Yes.
which are, like primary fruits for that particular season. Let's say summer, we have mangoes.
Yeah.
Right? So I am having those, fruit juices in specific seasons, which means I need those assets to be created in such a way that for a particular season those assets are available. But then I have all these other touch points. I have kiosks in my stores, I have banners, marketing banners, and other roadside banners. I also invest in those. I invest in TV commercials. I invest in a website and spread my messaging through that. I also have a mobile application. I also have a wearable application. So with Content Hub, how can I achieve it?
Okay, so let's like you have lots of questions. So
For now, let's do one thing. Let's just focus on how a consistent message can go through from an asset perspective, then the text and messaging perspective, and then we can go further, because I think there was a lot in one. So we'll just talk of these two things right now.
Yeah. So again, like whenever a season is coming in or a campaign is coming in, so the planning goes well couple of months in advance.
True.
So that team can start brainstorming on it, and they'll start uploading the assets, creating content for what the theme needs to be. Like how do we want to promote our brand for this campaign? So the idea can come up, and all the teams can come in one single location, and they don't have to depend on any other third-party system. So all this collaboration can be done over here.
Yep.
Okay, so once the content is created, assets are uploaded, it's all good. Then it will go through a review process, so that a higher level team can look at it like is it consistent or matching with what the campaign is or what the brand is. And once it is done, it's the assets or the content moves into an approved state.
Yep.
From there, any regional team can access them and can use them in any way they want to. So they don't have to think it twice, or they don't have to wait for anybody. Like, am I using the right asset? Is it the right asset to be used for this campaign? Because only those assets that or the content that needs to be used for this particular campaign would be available to them, and we could restrict it.
Right.
So that would save your time, and it would minimize the chances of errors.
So these, sorry to cut you off there, but the campaign that you are saying, how can we create that campaign in Content
Hub? Creating campaign in Content Hub. So Content Hub automatically has a campaign page where you could curate all your content that is already existing, or you could create your new content, and you can plan it in a way so that you can track it in the form of a project.
Okay.
So you have brought me to an important point, the MRM module, which we have already discussed. But again, I'll try to bring it and good functionality. Like with the MRM module, like you could create a project. You could have a team of 10 people, and you could assign them tasks. Like you are assigned to create assets or uploading assets into Content Hub, or curating all the assets that we have previously used, and you can group them together, and then you could assign a team of people to create content around it, or create a new brand message, or in case if you have used something in the past, you could again recurate it, and so the team can curate all the content. And then if you could curate it in the form of a campaigns page, where you could see like, okay, this campaign holds all the data for this vertical of business, this campaign for this section of my business. So you could group it in any way you want to.
And then that is not grouped by the I would say the device specific things. It would be grouped by the concept or the vertical of that business.
Yes, on the vertical of the business, but again, it could be divided in any way you want to. It's just a matter of a few clicks and few configurations, and you could have like, okay, so this is my broader concept. Okay, so this is my content for all the campaigns, and it would include like content for all my touch points. Then, like in case if I have separate teams, like one for my offline stores, so that's a different marketing team. Then I have for web, I have for mobile. So I can always classify them so that my offline marketing team gets access to only the content
Only
that,
those.
only the
Yeah.
material that I have created for my
Got it.
offline store, and they don't get confused like, okay, this is, I'm supposed to use this, is this for offline, is this for online? So yes, those classification could be done, and you could get as granular as you want to, so that only the right information is accessed by right people.
Right. So if I take it as a top-down approach, let's say the ones who are content creators, like the design team or other marketing team members, they would create it.
Yes.
For them, there would be a separate UI using campaign pages wherein they can create and curate the whole material together.
Yes.
Although what we can also have is we can have different type of campaign pages or landing pages in Content Hub specific to those particular teams that are let's say one is dealing with the kiosk and television commercials, the other one is dealing with web, the third one is dealing with mobiles. All of them can have those same assets in their own formats to be utilized.
Yes.
Am I understanding it
Yes,
correctly?
it can be done in two ways. Like you don't need multiple pages. It's just matter of few accesses that you provide, or you could
Okay.
create different pages. And like for marketing requirements with Content Hub, sky is limit. There is no limitation on what you can't do.
Yeah.
It's how you do.
Correct. All right. Well, the last piece of it, which really brings me, is, let's say, again, the reason I'm taking seasonal is because it covers a lot of use cases, which also covers for time.
Right.
Let's say I have something which I need to put on my website or my store, which is specifically for summers, while when the rainy season is near, or when the winters are near, I need to completely change it. Right. So can I achieve this with Content Hub?
Yes, definitely. So we have a tagging, so with which you could tag your particular assets for like based, like this is for summer season, and so once the summer season is all over, so you could archive them, or you could store, or like you could move them to a different page. So when the marketing team comes to access, they get access to only those assets that they need to use. So you don't actually delete them, but you just store them or have it warehoused in a separate location, so that it could be retrieved whenever required. So when
and reused in future.
Yes, reused in future. And when I mean stored in a different location, it's just that people who don't need to see it don't see it, so that they don't get cluttered or confused or with unnecessary information. So it makes it like whatever task like which used to take you like 8-10 hours could be done in couple of hours, because all the right information is readily available and served on your table.
Sure. Well, thank you, Girish, for your time today. Again, great information, great insights, and great detailing. The topic today was a lot about how to work in Content Hub and what all is possible in Content Hub. For more detail, you could either contact Girish or me on this if you want to know how exactly it is done. And along with this, I would also like to share Girish writes great articles on Content Hub from a strategy perspective, and some of these topics are also the ones which he has touched upon. So don't forget to look at his blog as well if you need more details. Additionally, if you need any support or any idea on how to implement these ideas actually in Content Hub, you need somebody like an expert like Girish, feel free to contact us either through this channel, or you can contact him on LinkedIn.
Yeah, sure.
So thank you, Girish, again for your time.
Thank you.
And well, that was Girish Jain for you, sharing his insights on how to maintain brand consistency using Sitecore Content Hub. Cheers.